Hi everyone, it's Hannah or Lambency and welcome back to another doll customization video. Today I'm going to be showing you how I made Pink Pearl from Steven Universe. This is obviously before she got her eye cracked and everything else bad that happened to her. So before we get onto the video, I want to let you guys know that a lot of my Steven Universe doll videos were taken down by YouTube. I expect all of them except Spinel will be taken down soon, so it's because I was not smart and I used copyrighted music and yeah. I don't plan on re-uploading them, but I do plan on redoing them because most of them are old and not very good. So I want to redo them and I'll upload new videos. So yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing well and yeah, let's start. The doll I'm using here is Raven Queen from Ever After High, and I already went ahead and cut off all the hair. This is the same base I used for White Pearl, who is actually Pink Pearl after being controlled. If you're not a Steven Universe fan, that probably sounds really confusing. Anyway, I wanted to make the two dolls look similar because they're the same person, but I ended up giving up on that because I didn't like how I did White Pearl's eyes. To make the head softer and to make it easier to take it off the neck peg, I let it soak in hot water for about 10 minutes. I removed the head and then used tweezers to scrape the inside of the head and pull out the hair. I know this is weird, but this is actually one of my favorite parts of doll customization. Once I got all the hair out, I wiped off the factory paint using acetone nail polish remover. I used Q-tips to really get into the crevices of the face. Next, I sprayed the entire body with white spray paint. Once it was dry, I sealed it with Mr. Super Clear. Then I worked on the face. I used Faber-Castell watercolor pencils. I used a light gray to sketch everything on since it's easier to erase lighter colors if you mess up, which I do a lot. Once I got everything how I wanted, I sealed it and went over it with pink. I added the eyeliner and colored in the irises. I also drew on the eyebrows and colored in the lips with pink. I sealed this layer and then continued once it was dry. I used a magenta color to darken the eyeliner and around the irises, and I also added lower lashes. After a couple more layers of color, I added the pupils. I added dots of white acrylic paint to the eyes as well as a light blush using soft pastels. I ended up going over the lips and eyebrows with acrylic paint to make the color more solid, but I kind of regret the eyebrows. Finally, I used gloss varnish on the eyes and lips to make them shine. Now for the hair. I made it using this 100% acrylic pink yarn. I tied the strands onto this metal hoop so that I can brush it out. Since the pink was a little too light, I used this Prismacolor marker to lightly color it. I cut a bunch of strands to the length that I wanted and then tied it all onto the hoop. Here's my cat Nico wanting to play with everything as usual. I fill almost the entire hoop, leaving a space to move the strands around. Then I use a pet brush to brush out the yarn until it's smooth. Here it is all brushed out and beautiful. It's really soft. Since it wasn't quite the pink that I wanted, I just lightly went over it with marker. Then I used a flat iron to straighten the hair. To make hair wefts, I put down plastic wrap and glued the hair down to it using tacky glue. I used a plastic palette knife to flatten it down. Once the glue dried, I peeled it off the plastic wrap and cut the excess glue off the top. I used tacky glue again to glue it directly onto her head. You may also notice that I painted on Pink Pearl's leggings and arm stockings, I think that's what they would be called. Anyway, I'm sorry I didn't film that part, I just used acrylic paint. I parted her hair down the middle so that I can twist it into buns. Now her clothes. I'm using the vintage and Lolita A-line pattern from DG Requiem on Etsy, which I will link in the description. I cut out one bodice front, two bodice backs, one panty front, and two panty backs from basic hot pink cotton. I placed the two panty backs together and sewed along here. Then I placed the panty front on top of the panty back and sewed. Then I hemmed the top and the leg openings using fabric glue. I sewed the sides of it and placed it on the doll to hem the back opening and sew on a snap. For the bodice, I placed the bodice backs onto the front and sewed them together. Then I hemmed the arm openings. I sewed the sides of the bodice and then placed it on the doll so that I can draw where to cut it. I cut out a triangle shape at the bottom and lowered the neckline. After these adjustments, I hemmed everything and added Velcro to the back. Onto her skirt. I used the high-low skirt pattern from DG Requiem and cut it out of this pink chiffon. I used fray block to prevent the fabric from fraying and getting messy. I also cut it down the middle to separate the skirt. Then I sewed a basting stitch at the top and pulled the thread to create ruffles. I forgot to film it, but I added Velcro to the back. For her gem, I used epoxy sculpt and rolled the clay into a little ball. Then I flattened it a bit and shaped it until it was oval. Once it was completely dry, I went over with white paint and then light pink paint. For her shoes, I'm using the ballet pattern from DG Requiem, and I cut out two shoes from pink cotton fabric and then hemmed. I cut out two inner soles from craft foam and two outer soles from this plastic thing, I don't know what the name is. I sewed the back of the shoes right sides together, then turned it right side out and glued the fabric down to the bottom of the sole. Then I covered that up with the outer soles and all done! Pink Pearl is complete. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching and see you next time. Bye!